No, it's not. Yes, it
Should
is.
be.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
How are
morning,
you
everyone.
guys?
Welcome to Bead Maker and Coffee.
Hi.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
We're
Awesome.
here.
We're awake.
Sort of. I'm not awake yet.
I am.
I'll be awake when this is all gone.
I'm getting
I'm
there.
struggling on it too. Yeah.
I'm getting there.
You know what? You just got to get up, work out, get moving, and all of a sudden you're awake. Look at everybody's faces.
It's
Like,
not how that
you're
happens.
freaking insane.
Yeah, Sydney.
You know, I'm only a week out from the car show, and I'm still coming back down to earth.
That is like a 6-month endeavor. So you got to have at least 6 weeks of sleep.
Yeah, it's a
I haven't
little
even
crazy.
changed. I'm still in the same clothes. I get up
Me
every morning.
too.
I walk around the neighborhood and I tell everybody where to park. And
Yep. That's
Still in
awesome.
car show mode. Well,
That's
good morning,
awesome.
everyone. This is Bead Maker and Coffee with Sydney, and today we have the amazing guests Rod and Jody from the RoadFS Software and RoadFS Podcast. Obviously, look at their very nice studio.
Love it.
You
Love
only
it.
knew.
Well, there
Yeah.
is some rumor that says one and or both of you might not be wearing business casual underneath there.
I'm wearing pants.
I'm full Scottish today.
Wow. Well, we wanted to have you guys on because you know who you are, obviously, but not in small part because you both were at Sydney's amazing car show, Cruisin Hidden Springs,
Yep.
this last week.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
were.
it
And,
was
yeah,
amazing.
We love going to
as
Sydney's car
always.
show.
It
Thank
was
you.
it was especially fun for me because I actually had my future in-laws come into town with my daughter and her boyfriend, and I was surprised they got up early. But I told them about the car show. I told them I was going to have to leave early. You know, or I told Sydney I was going to have to leave early, and they actually came out right at 10 o'clock. They were there all the way to 12, and they had a blast. I mean, my future I don't know what you call him, father-in-law. Well, my daughter's
Future.
father-in-law.
I think it's just
Diego.
future in-laws. Yeah.
Yeah. Diego had a blast. I mean, he just was over the top. He's like, "This is so fun. I'm so glad you invited us." And they walked around and
See, and I would have just said, I planned this all. This is the kind of in-laws we are. We put together events and
This is the entertainment we've arranged.
Right, that's right. You know, what I think was great about the car show is the fact that Sydney was able to do the correct weather dance this year.
Mhm.
Got it
Yes.
the perfect temperature for a car show and to be outside all day. I really appreciated that part.
Yes.
it sucked going out in the boat
because,
later.
See, that's the problem is you
Yeah.
boat. You deviated from the car show activities.
I
You
know.
went out in a boat and you deserve to be cold.
I'd rather have it warm.
So
Yeah.
I have a question for you, just because I can't not ask people questions on a podcast. Sydney,
That's totally
how
fine.
many people work with you to put this thing on?
One. One other one. So no, that's not totally true. So it's me and John, my partner, that started the show, and we put it on, and we do the whole show. Now on the neighborhood side, there is about 4 ladies. So like the town manager, the assistant town manager, and then we have a volunteer coordinator, Jamie Masdorf, who's amazing, and then Lauren, who works in the office. So those 4 ladies from the neighborhood side do all their heavy lifting. So they get they do all the sound and like the porta potties, the tents. So they kind of arrange like the big logistics.
Okay.
And they do like the signage around the neighborhood, and they pull the permits and all of that. So they do a lot. As far as the show production though, that is just John and I. And then this year we did have a lady helping us named Katie that did like all of my paperwork for me, which was amazing. But really, like as far as like concept and execution, it's just John and I. So it's a lot. It's a lot of work dealing with all the sponsors and the registrations and all of that stuff is, I mean, it's 6 months every year to plan the show. It's a good 6 months out of our lives. So it's pretty
6 months
crazy.
to plan about 6 hours. And then
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody, if you've never actually participated in a car show or helped organize one or even try to park some
Yeah.
car to
Yeah.
a show, the volunteers have an interesting job because you have to be happy no matter what.
Right.
And this jackass wants to park his car next to his buddy's car who isn't going to show up in 20 minutes. There's a lot of, people take a lot of pride in it. And I'm making people take so much pride in their cars that when they want it to be perfect. I don't care if it is a complete turd that has rust holes in the side of it. That is their baby. And today's the day that everyone gets to see it. And so they want it perfect.
Yep. And it's pretty crazy, right? So I'm glad you mentioned the volunteers. So we had, we have tons of neighborhood volunteers that do all the road closures because we actually have to close our roads, right? Which is pretty crazy. So we have to have volunteers at every single road closure for the whole day. But then for the parking, we have, and the vendor setup, we have, I lost count, but anywhere from 10 to 15 detailers that come from all over the US, including Hawaii, Alaska. We had Ohio, Iowa. It's pretty crazy. We have Scotland. Yeah.
Scotland.
Scotland was crazy. Yeah, he wins the award this year for coming for this.
Scotland, he scammed his way in. I talked to him, and I'm not giving him that one. I'm not giving him that one.
Let's take now 8-hour flight. You got to give him.
Ian allowed it. It was another stop, and he's not getting off that easy on that one.
Oh,
true. And so we have all these volunteers, detailers from the industry. We'll give them shout outs as we go along today, but absolutely amazing. I have a ton of support, and obviously Rod and Jody come to the show every year, and oh my gosh. So yes, the parking is crazy. And so that's kind of the crazy thing is, so we have people that come from all over. You guys are from Boise, but we do have detailers that come from all over, and they get yelled at for, I want to park here, I want to park there. So I actually had to, in my registrations this year, I had to write, be nice to our volunteers. They are coming on their own dime from a far way away to help you park your car.
Yeah, most people are really good. It's out of the close to 300 cars, you might get one or two people. But this year there was nothing. A couple years ago there was a guy that was real hot, but most of the people are really, really good about it, and they're kind and courteous, and it's to me it's one of the great events because it's part of it's a location. It's a really, really pristine location. The orchard is wonderful. It's in the grass and everything. Then there's the part down inside of town, which is great. Just the way that you can walk around and naturally be around in town. But it's also because of the combination of the food and the events for the kids and just the natural, there's places to eat. So many times you're at a car show and there's nothing to eat but the one pull up churro trailer, and you're like, oh, hurt.
That has a 30-minute line wait.
So there's a lot of food, there's a lot of stuff. My particular favorite this year was when the rag company completely left, and they left all their towels and wash mitts hanging in their tent, and Dave and I enjoyed a couple of those.
Really?
You left early.
You
left early.
I would have grabbed some of you.
Sorry. And we got it. I did get a text from Petro that night that said, I think I forgot to take down the decorations. And I was like, we got it.
Oh, yeah. The decorations got taken down.
Oh, so funny. So funny.
I got yelled at a couple years ago by a guy who you mentioned wanting to parking in the orchard. A guy who wanted to park in the little town section on the street, and he just said, well, I thought I was going to be able to park over there, and I didn't know really how things worked then. This was my first time at the show a few years ago, and he just said, I told him, look, if you were going to park over there, you would know that you would be allowed to park over there.
Right.
Like you wouldn't have been in this line.
Exactly.
And
you get the memo. You get the memo that you're on the street. So funny. We've only had the one guy leave angry, and I still run into that guy all the time, and I won't share how I act towards him, but the feelings are mutual with that guy. Oh gosh.
The one year I didn't know it was Sydney's neighbor, so let's caveat this, but
Tom.
Sydney's neighbor had already set up that he was going to park two cars next to each other. And he pulled up and he had to park his first car and then go back to his house and get the second car and come back. And so he also didn't tell me that go back to the house was in Hidden Springs.
Right.
He pulls up in it was a Ferrari 308. And so he pulls up and he says, yeah, I got to go back to my house and get my other car. You need to save me a spot. And I was like, well, that's not really allowed. And he wouldn't move. He just kept his car sitting there. And his car's backed up all the way down the street. And finally I go, hey, Magnum, pull your car up over there. Right. He then started laughing. And then he told me, my house is right here. And Sydney told me I could do this. And I'm like, well, that would have saved a lot of trouble. But anyway, he will forever be Magnum now.
Yep. So funny. So funny. Oh, goodness. Well, thank you guys for coming to the show. It was so great. I am still recovering. Last week was nuts. So we literally we had 77 degrees on the day of the show. And then Monday was 60 degrees and Friday was 98. So we took a turn and it made recovering a little bit difficult, but we're back and I'm super excited. So I'm so excited that you guys are here. We've been so I have this list and I hold people in my pocket, right? So I've wanted to have you guys on forever. And so Tony and I meet and we go through okay, how are we going to match this group up, And so you guys have been on the list for a while. So then the other day when I called Tony, we were both like, yes, Rod and Jody, this is the perfect time.
Yeah. And it's funny because we were actually in Canada at a different event. We were in Edmonton, Alberta
at the Detail
Summit with the OP and
how was that?
It was awesome.
We were there with the Bobs from Lake Country. Bob
cool.
Myers.
Yeah.
And we were right in the middle of doing that training, and it came in, and I'm like, Jody, we're doing the Bead Maker and Coffee on Monday. He's like, okay.
I was like, man, we've had such a crazy pace this year. I mean, last year was crazy, but I think this year we're even elevating from last year. And it's like, we went straight from Hidden Springs straight to Canada.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say how long we're home, but then we have Indiana, Idaho Falls.
Oh my goodness.
I think
Denver
back to Denver twice
this summer,
and then we're going to Holland, and of course SEMA. So it's like, oh my gosh, oh cool.
My goodness, yeah, you guys are all over the place. Which, I mean, everybody knows you guys are just huge champions of the industry. So you attend everything. But I did see, I do watch all your stuff. So I know everywhere you go. But I did see that you guys were at RoadFS with an aircraft training with helicopters. That looks so cool.
Awesome. Unbelievable. I've never been at a training where a helicopter flies in and lands in the parking lot.
That is so cool.
Rotors. And then put them inside. And so there were two-seater helicopters. Yeah. One was a piston engine and one's a jet engine. And it was a Aviation Detailing Association training. And it was fantastic. It was so different.
That's so cool.
Because there's only certain places you have to stand on the aircraft to detail it. Because it's rounded. And so you can't put a lift next to it because the top. So there's little tiny footholds that you can stand on. So there's a little added level of difficulty, Lexan windows. It was it looked like that thing had just literally gone in and just, how in Idaho, these kids that go mud bogging and they show up and they're covered in mud.
That one was shredded.
It looked like this helicopter just barrel rolled in the crap. It was a mess.
Oh my gosh. So, how cool.
Fun. Super fun. They were beautiful aircraft, and then we get to put the rotors back on and
watch it fly away.
And then a third one showed up. I'm not kidding you. Just because a guy wanted an excuse to fly his helicopter, he flew the same flight path and landed in RoadFS parking lot for 2.5 minutes, and then flew off again. I didn't even know that was legal, but
that is so cool. So cool. So, so we always on this show we always do. What's your favorite product you used last week? So I'm going to let you guys go first, and it is a PNS show, but you don't have to use a PNS answer. So what was your favorite product that you used last week?
Well, actually, yesterday, I used the PNS interior cleaner. So
okay, cool. What did you use it on your own car?
On my son's car. He's pulls out Sunday. He's like, Dad, it's been far too long since I've detailed the interior. So we pulled everything out, and that's what we did yesterday. So
cool.
So my favorite product was actually a compound from OP.
Okay.
But it was because I got to use a rotary again, and I haven't touched it probably 15 years. And
you made it look good.
We had a hood from a junkyard, and it was one of those Marty McFly moments where like Bob Myers goes, "Oh, you can't get those scratches out." And then that was the whole Marty McFly chicken thing came out, and I grabbed this rotary and we were able to get the scratches out.
Yeah, it looked great.
Nice.
But it actually reminded me a lot of the properties of Eagle Maker. So it was very diminishing compound that finished off really nicely. And I've always loved Eagle Maker for that. And it's funny because that's what popped into my head when I was using it. I was like, this is a lot like Eagle Maker. So yeah, it was fun.
That's awesome. So cool. Tony,
well, I had show and tell, and the system, all these updates to this back end of our streaming platform here.
Yeah.
It used to allow me to sort of, pre-set up stuff, screen sharing and all these things. And it would stay hidden. So obviously it didn't stay hidden this time. The picture just popped up on the screen a minute ago. But anyway, it's basically cheating because we've both used this answer at several points in the last year. But my answer is UCP 1987.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I had a 64 and a half Mustang, if anyone's actually counting, come in, and it just needed a little love. It was a little Father's Day present from a wife to her husband, and so I just cleaned this thing up. It had a not so great paint job on it, but this just bought him, I think, another year or two, of looking at it and being happy with it before he needs to actually get it repainted. But that was my my little adventure into the classic week. I had two classics this week, but this was my UCP project. So
very cool. Yeah. All right. Well, I have two. I'm going to piggyback on Jody's a little bit because it is noteworthy. So Express Interior. Obviously, I love Express Interior. I never use it as my product of the week because it's just such a staple. I use it on every single car. But I had a Tesla Model Plaid this week. And Teslas, the interiors are hard. They're just hard to work on. They're not hard to work on.
I like them just because there's not so many buttons and things.
Well, yes. I mean, they're not hard to work on, but they're hard to find a product that isn't going to cause you more issues, right?
Yeah,
I feel like you chase yourself a lot. So Express, Teslas are hard with even like natural finish or Swift. You're going to have streaking. You just do. And so what I was impressed with on Express this week on the Plaid was I could just spray it on a rag, wipe it. Obviously the car wasn't dirty, wipe it down. And then it just had that really nice, it was nice and rich and black just from the Express, where I didn't feel like I had to put a protectant on. There was no benefit to the protectant at that point. The whole thing was completely blacked out. Yeah. And I mean, the whole thing was tinted. Actually, the customer got a fix-it ticket for tint on the way to my house. But so the whole thing was tinted. Windshield, the whole thing was black. So I didn't need any protectant. There was no sun rays getting through that thing. And so it was so nice to be able to just wipe it down with Express, and it looked deep and rich as if I put a protectant on. So really loved Express for that. I thought that was so awesome. And I know we get that question a lot, like, how do I clean Tesla seats? And it's like, Express is just great. It's just great. So that was my first one. My second one, and Tony's going to laugh about this because we had an offline chat about this, but my second one is Triple S. I keep grabbing Triple S. I keep grabbing Triple S for stuff. And truth be told, about a year ago, I was filming, actually, it was exactly a year ago. I was filming with Justin Pate at the Rag Company. Everyone knows Justin Pate kind of has his face on the bottle of Triple S because it's for wrapping, right? And he came to me and said, I want to do a video on how Triple S is good on Windows. And I was like, no. We're not going to overcomplicate this product, And so I was like, no, I'm like, if you want to use it on Windows, that's fine, but we're not going to put that out there. And so I think in a video he did kind of slip in that it's great on glass, but I was always like, you always want to be careful in videos of, saying stuff like that. And so, but recently I have definitely started cleaning windows and finishing them off with Triple S. And it is really, really nice. It just leaves a really nice, slick finish. So I've been really enjoying that. So I've been using Triple S almost on every piece of glass, inside and out.
I have a second one, but it's not because I used it. So if you remember back to TRCMA, gave away a bottle of Frostbite.
Yeah.
And we actually got a face-to-face with the guy that won it.
Oh, cool.
And I just have to put a shout out to that product because he's still that was clear back, several months ago, and he loved that product. That's
awesome.
He's really excited about the product. And then also shout out to P&S because they shipped it for free. We didn't have to pay that, and the shipping was 3 times the price of the actual product.
So, yeah.
Anyway.
Too cool.
Well, I almost feel like you need to tell the whole story of my big revelation.
I was going to say you tell the whole story. So you tell what makes the Triple S better on glass.
Well, so the whole story, the whole long story short, it was in our side chat with, yourself, Sydney, obviously myself, and then some industry friends of ours, Jamie the cleaner, Alex Dewar, Joey Belinsky. I'm working on a car the other day, and I've always struggled with glass, which is like Sydney's specialty, right? And I'm like, I cracked the code. I figured out how to do Windows finally. I've been detailing for 6 years, and I've just now figured out how to do Windows. And my process I came up with was, use absolute first at the standard dilution, and I was just using it in a spray bottle. And just a whatever rag to just hit everything, and then essentially stacking that. So while it was still wet, don't buff it all off. While it was still wet from the absolute, stack it with a glass cleaner, which I was using TrueView, and then come back with your window towel. And I'm like, I've never gotten windows so clean. And so I put that in the chat. I'm like, I figured it out. Finally, I have invented a process that works, and I'm going to be known for this. It's going to be the Tony method, right? I'm so excited. And Sydney just comes in and is like, yeah, do all that same stuff except use Triple S instead of glass cleaner. And I was like, you mean to tell me you've already been doing this and there's an actually better way? Like, I just invented this. I came up with it, but you already have a better way of doing my same process. Yeah. And so I was so upset, really. I immediately went back to the shop and got another car and did the process again with Triple S, and it was amazing. It was even better. So, and it's just slick. So the big difference is, whatever slickening agents obviously are in there for the wrap applications. Are amazing on glass, and it makes the window and the window towel situation that much smoother and nicer. And it got them just as clean, and now they're protected too, so it almost feels like they're going to be easier to clean inside and out later too. So look at this. Mark says it even works when it's 110 out.
So Tony, this falls under when Delaney said Tony's the better trainer than my mom, but he learned everything he knows from my mom.
Shush.
That's what she said. She said Tony's a better trainer, but he learns everything he knows from my mom.
So I just went back to the chat, and I'm like, I'm always just living in Sydney's shadow, is what it feels like.
No, you're not.
I know. I was just playing, but it just was funny. Well, hey, I'm going to get out of the way. Funny. I'm going to let you guys
let's
talk
get
it out,
questions.
recap any more car show stuff you want. I'm going to get some questions, and there's a lot of good mornings and stuff I haven't gotten through yet. So I'm just going to fly through a bunch of that stuff.
Okay, cool.
And get you guys some stuff to talk about.
All right, let's do it.
Well, one of the nice things I think about what you guys are talking about is there's not a lot of times when you get a product that works on the panel, but it does work on the thanks, Hans. There's
Hans.
The man, Hans. But it works on the glass as well. Usually you get a product that works on Franco with the squirrel scat. All right. That's what I do like about some of the products is that it goes right on the glass and it does foam it up. There's so many rinseless, like even a rinseless product that will leave like a residue on the glass, and then you have to go back later and clean it off. So
that's really good. Absolute is crazy good on Windows. Good morning, Superado. All the good mornings.
Yeah.
Nice. Good morning from Pittsburgh. Good morning, Frank.
Pittsburgh. I heard that Pittsburgh is the most affordable place to live in the United States.
Wow.
Right now.
Well, it's not Boise anymore for anybody who.
No, ma'am. There's one of our favorites, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. She's always.
Good morning, Sarah. Gabriel. Good morning, Jody, Rod, and Tony, and Queenie. Good morning, Gabriel. Franco, yep, different day, same Monday. So that's unfortunate.
Oh, the key is sometimes you don't wear them, you skip a day.
That's why I use my own chair.
Yeah. Good morning.
There is a lot of good mornings.
Lots of good mornings.
I will say this about the
Delaney, look at you.
The car show this year. I was bummed about one thing.
Mm-hmm.
That one thing is we didn't have the RC car drag races this year.
I know. You know what?
The email is there's a legit question from Hans. Just look at info@zenware.com. Send it to that.
Or Jody.Sedrick
at Zenware, or Rod.Puzey at Zenware, or Smoke Signals, or we can get
so Jody, truth be told, and I doubt they're watching this show, so I don't feel bad throwing them under the bus. We had them all set up, and we even had trophies made and everything, and they just didn't show up.
Oh man,
they just didn't show up.
Car drag racers, man. I was actually looking forward to doing that with my.
I know.
Good morning, Jamie.
I know they didn't show up. Good morning, Kyle.
Good man. Kyle's everywhere. When you're in Colorado, he's everywhere.
Yep.
Hey, there he is.
Alan. Alan was here. He got to experience Idaho. It was great. We had the Highland cows. He felt right at home.
Yep.
The coos. Franco says, we accidentally got into a huge fistfight brawl with the car show staff. Bit of a long story, but they struck first. Wow. Yeah, well, that's about where it was with that orange Firebird a couple years ago, huh, Rod?
Yes, it was.
If he would have swung, we were swinging back.
Yeah, I was already ready. I was ready to take him out, but
yeah. Oh, that guy. You know what he said to me? I'm going to tell you. He said online. He said Sydney. And he used what do you call it? Expletives?
Expletives, yeah.
He said Sydney ... that show by making it too big. And I said, oh, like the wheels on your Firebird? Because I was like, if you're going to come at me like that, I'm going to come right back. I mean, his wheels are hideous.
Yeah, they're
anyway. Anyway, the orange. Yes, Joe remembers the orange Firebird guy. God, what a jerk. Gabriel, when the natural finish triple S and pad washer labels are printed, can we also get frostbite labels for the IK sprayer like the bucket labels? Here's the deal, Gabriel. I'm sure that those are all somewhere in print. It's amazing how many times we have to ask for them, but we're going to get them. But here's the deal with IK sprayers, because we do get a lot of requests for IK sprayers. So IK sprayers are like a cone, right? So you would have to make your labels specifically for a cone bottle for them to fit. Otherwise they crinkle, because we've tried putting brake buster labels on them and stuff. We've tried the bucket labels, but they don't go on smoothly because they're tapered. So you almost have to do like vinyl letters or something on the IK sprayers, because the labels just don't work. We'd have to make literally a whole new run of labels just for IK sprayers. And I can promise you that if we can't get them for round bottles, we're not going to get them for cone shaped bottles.
You'd have to heat shrink them. You just wrap.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, man. Joe Kimball was there too. And he was, Joe, let me just tell you, Joe, you were on my list of backups. If I hit him and he didn't go down, I was calling you in.
Yep. God, that guy. Ugh.
We missed you this year, Joe.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. Joe had a family emergency. We did miss him. Yes, Franco, free samples are never bolted down. Nope.
That's true. It's what makes them free.
Yep. Turbo 6 says, so glad I can finally watch this for a bit. We are glad you're here too. It looks like he just left. He had to jump off. Turbo 6 says, I've always been interested in aviation detailing. I was in a puddle jumper and the windshield was totally swirled and causing glares. There is definitely a need out there for aircraft.
Yeah. So the thing
about
some aircraft is glass and some of it is Lexan. And if you've ever tried to detail Lexan, you can cause more damage.
Oof,
You got to make sure you're using the right products. for that. And you don't wipe in a circular motion on an aircraft. It's always up and down because of that. You don't want to create the glare. So
and that is scary too, right? Because I've been to Monterey several times, and when Gordon was running the show at the Monterey Jet Center, it was always aircraft and vehicles mixed. And I remember, getting in those aircraft, and it was always like, man, the windows are so dirty, and it's scary that they fly like that. But you know what? I think a lot of it is because the technology inside the plane, unless it's those old warplanes, they almost barely need to be able to see because the plane knows what they're doing.
I think that brings out an important point for the Aviation Detailing Association. Josh Hernandez is doing a really good job of trying to set some standards for detailers, not only from the standpoint of processes and being able to open business opportunities, but from safety. I mean, you're dealing with somebody that is flying a plane. They can't pull over to the side of the nearest cloud and go, oh, I'm going to fix this, right? And so being aware of all of the static ports and pitot tubes and all of the sensors, right? It is a different animal. And there's so many different substrates that you need to be aware of. So I highly, highly recommend that you go through one of the ADA's training things, because there's so many nuances to planes that you need to be aware of, not only from a customer service standpoint, but from a liability standpoint.
Yeah, totally.
And I did learn this from Delaney's mom. Is that when you're doing windows, I absolutely, I'm not 20. And I've always hated windows. And it's one of those things, you're either fine with windows or you hate them. And I hate them because there's always some little smudge on them. And you think in your head, like, it's glass, it's a flat surface, it should be perfect. Well, using like an applicator pad and spraying on the pad or on the rag and then wiping, and not just doing the whole area has been a game changer for me. Because
I love the applicator. Yeah,
it's totally changed the way I look at windows. So that's one of those. Yes, Delaney, your mom has a lot of knowledge.
Well, thank you. All right, the details and me says good morning. Oh, the dog is here.
Yay!
Need to go. Oh, Josh Pierce. Good morning, my favorite piece.
Always there.
Yeah, Josh. He almost won the coming from the furthest, coming from Iowa.
Yeah,
little road warrior Josh is, but Alan had to beat him out this year.
Probably
took Josh just as long by air though to get here.
Yeah, it probably did almost, because it's your layover there. But
it's crazy.
Iowa, holy cow.
So crazy. Franco, ooh, how is Triple S with PPF? I've got some pre-cut PPF pieces for the piano black pillars for my Bronco. I think Triple S is great. I'm not sure. The one thing I'm not sure is if you use that as a slip solution under PPF. That I do not know. I know you use it on wrap, but I know that a lot of PPF guys use it as the topper. Like they put it on top of the PPF when they're done. But it's great. Yeah. Awesome. And good job on the B pillars for the Bronco, because
that's a perfect place for PPF.
Interrupting Tony here. I have heard that Matt Ward uses it as his slip solution for PPF. So I haven't actually spoken to him directly about it, but I've heard it mentioned a couple times when it's come up on other podcasts. So I would reach out to him for specifics.
Yeah, I'll ask him. He actually is doing one of my customers' cars on Monday for me, so I will ask.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
ask him. Perfect. And then I'm good, because I'm pretty sure that I've heard that he uses it as that. So anyway,
cool. Yeah,
back out of the.
Nice.
Definitely ask him. Very cool. All right, Franco back with, I've already got the Triple S already. I just can't get the time to apply the PPF. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems hard. I always think that PPF would be a great part of the business to go into, but man, I don't have the patience.
Yeah, it's a different animal.
Yeah. Is Triple S good for interior glass too? Would the protection make them fog? The protection actually keeps them from fogging. And yes, it's amazing on interior glass, but I do recommend cleaning them first with a traditional cleaner. I do like the Absolute for sure, or you can just use TrueView to clean them. So if I'm doing like a maintenance and the windows aren't really dirty, it does have a little bit of cleaning power. But if you've truly got like smudges or old fog, you're going to want to get that off first and then seal them. So yes, it does work great on interior glass for sure. I love it. It's also great on everything in the kitchen. Stainless steel, marble. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's one of those things where we were actually talking about this weekend, is the stainless steel appliances inside your house is to put on that, because it makes the cleanup so much easier.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I feel like it really cuts down on the fingerprints, to be honest. I really, really do.
Yeah.
Really do. Very good. Good morning, Thomas. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ramiro. It's early where he is. I always love when the West Coast guys get up at dark 30 to join us. All right. Yep. High definition detail says, I tried the applicator first method Sydney did on the Jeep on TRC, and it worked very well. Yes, that is the only way I clean glass. Yes, the applicator, it just spreads it out perfect, gets all the grime off, and then you've just got a nice buff down. It's perfect. Love it. Yes.
Yes.
High definition is recommending that Franco flip the undies inside
out. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's right.
That's called efficiency.
You go back, you go inside out. You can 4 days that way.
Turbo. Is the ADA Aviation the top authority on aviation detailing? Is that what aircraft owners look for when selecting a detailer? So I'm not totally up on the ADA. I know you guys are, and I know, Jody, you've looked into it quite a bit more. So I'll let you guys take this one.
Yes. So we've gone through several of the trainings with the ADA. It's an organization that is, Josh Hernandez is the highest level of aviation mechanic you can get. He's also a pilot, ex-military, and he and Brett Berry are kind of co-partners in the ADA. Brett Berry's been doing it like 16 or 20 years.
Yeah, 16.
So yes, they are trying to make those the go-to.
Well, one of the things that they're working on in particular is, because there is so much potential risk and liability when it comes to detailing planes, they're actually working with the aircraft manufacturers directly. They're actually set up just like if you're a mechanic on airplanes, you have to have an ID that authorizes you to actually repair and fix planes. They're trying to push that same level of certification within the aviation industry, because there is so much liability. I mean, they're actually had a plane go down in Brazil because somebody forgot to take off the tape of a sensor.
Oh gosh.
They're really driving and for this level of expertise to be put in place. And the aviation manufacturers are really, really on board.
Right.
The other challenge with aviation detailing is your standard insurance is not applicable. Right. And there are only a couple of insurance providers that will cover you to work on planes. So one of the things that the ADA is bringing to you is an insurance option.
Oh, that's cool.
That opens that door for you that otherwise would be very difficult for you to enter.
Standardization, that's the word I was looking for there. Is they're bringing these standards in, and they're working with the aircraft manufacturers to make sure that everybody's following them. And then we actually have been working with them, and we created we're the only CRM software that has it's a pre and a post inspection. So think about it. You're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the way out, you're going 4, 3, 2, 1, and you have to check to make sure that you have removed the tape, that you have not coated certain parts of the plane that cannot be ceramic coated. And it's a different animal than working on something that is on the ground, for instance.
Right.
After the same way, there's many substrates on a plane. So yeah, it's fascinating. It's super fun.
Well, cleaning de-ice boots.
De-ice boots. Yeah,
de-ice boots are huge.
And so products need to be certified by the aviation industry to be used on those. So
and that includes interior as well as exterior, because there is a level of fire retardant that you have to maintain, and some products can damage that fire retardancy.
So it was really eye-opening when we went to the first training with them. We kind of connected with Josh, and we've done a lot of stuff with him to kind of promote the safety and the insurance aspect of it, because I think some of these private planes are millions. They're multi-millions. You need to have that kind of insurance. It's a great thing for detailers. This is going to really help the whole detailing industry legitimize as a skilled trade, especially if the aviation industry adopts some requirements. So
yeah. I love it. Because I do see a lot of people, just randomly out there. Hey, I'm looking at a plane next week. Or they think they've worked on a plane and it's not, it's different. It's different. And you need to make sure that everything is covered and you have the knowledge that you need. And I'm one that cannot stress the insurance enough. I mean, your regular Garage Keepers does not cover airplanes and you have to know what you're doing. There's so much more at risk. So I'm really glad to see this coming to light and becoming a more mainstream thing. I think it's absolutely great. Awesome. It gives us a place to send people, because we get the question all the time about airplanes and I'm always like, stop.
Yes.
So I love it. Perfect. Next question, Tony. Are you still awake? Did we put you to sleep?
You went to sleep.
I did take a small nap there. No, just kidding. No, I wanted to jump in, and because I have some moments of internet uncertainty here.
Okay.
Questions from,
cool.
And we're going to try and do this with visual aids this time.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so I've got one fun one, which says, "Good morning, Sydney. Does frostbite remove waxes or sealants?"
It possibly, right? So frostbite is a higher cleansing foam, right? So
a little bit higher pH than neutral.
Yeah. So the one thing people don't realize about wax, and this is always what I try to explain to my customers when they say, "Do you wax the car?" And I say, I don't use wax, because waxes are very, very temporary. They are 1 to 3 washes, maybe. So I personally don't use waxes. So could frostbite remove a wax? Absolutely. I'm going to say yes.
I think a pH neutral, very happy friendly soap is going to remove some wax.
Exactly.
Anyway, just the wash process. So I think you're totally right.
Sealants, maybe not. The thing about sealants is we all love sealants. There's different ranges on how strong they are. There's Bead Maker as a sealant, so is Defender. But Defender is going to last a lot longer than Bead Maker. And then there's everything in between, right, in the industry. So we can't really give a blanket answer to this. Most likely it's not going to remove it in one wash, but it's also going to depend on what that sealant's been through. Has it already been through a car wash? How long has it been on the car? Where does the car live? All of that is very subjective. But would we say that it's going to strip a sealant? No, we would not claim that it's going to strip a sealant. Could it? Maybe.
So let me ask an add-on question to that, is that because frostbite has a higher pH, and I think I'm knowing the answer to this, but I want to just address it. Do you need to neutralize it, or is rinsing it off enough?
Just rinsing it off is plenty. Yeah, totally.
But you wouldn't want to let it sit, because then it could do some damage to something.
Right. Yeah, I would never foam frostbite, especially if the car is warm or you're outside and it's sunny. I would never foam it and leave it on for any amount of time. I would go straight into your contact wash and get it rinsed off. But that's really, I'm going to say that's with any soap, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I've used
it
Pearl.
Is. Some that are more pH, less pH, that are not as
but you're not going to want to leave frostbite sitting on the surface. For sure, especially if it's not a very good conditioned surface.
There you go.
For sure. Yeah.
All right. I've got another one. Does Absolute have any fillers or silicone?
No, but I have heard rumblings that some people wish it did.
Hey.
No, Absolute does not have any fillers or silicones at all. So it does have polymers. There's certainly going to be polymers that remain on the surface, but they don't impede any correction or any coating or anything like that you're going to be doing. But no fillers or silicones. But maybe someday we will have a version that has something fun in it, right?
Maybe something fun. Maybe not necessarily.
Let's just create something that's a filler made out of silicone and call it Filicone.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect. All right, and then I'm going to blow this one up here. It says, what would you put on this red portion to clean and shine? Apparently, it is a red crinkle paint.
Right, and it's also matte. It's got some matte to it. You wouldn't want to make it too shiny because it's natural to be kind of flat. It's about a 60% flat on a Ferrari.
Yep. So what I put on these, because I do have a couple Ferraris, is I actually use natural finish. So thanks for using that word. I put natural finish on because what happens is it kind of brightens it, it protects it, but it does not turn it shiny. So you can use natural finish is a really good option. I don't necessarily go to dynamic because sometimes that will leave a little bit more of a gloss, and these really are supposed to be a matte finish. But I do like to put natural finish just to rehydrate them, kind of similar to how we do powder coating. You can certainly use, which I've had to use on the Ferrari 308 that we talked about earlier, because that one is so old. It's an 84, and so those on it are really, really dry, and I have used no rub. So I've coated them down in no rub, and it really, like that for that one, because they're almost pink, works really nice. It really super hydrates them. But the nice thing about it is even if you did use dynamic, you could literally just wipe it off as soon as it kind of soaks in and rehydrates the color. You can wipe it right off, which is nice. So they're actually, I have found them very easy to work on.
There you go. Oh, sweet. Well, I had one more thing before I get out of the way again. Okay. And this is something that we haven't done before, but I thought might be kind of fun. Yeah. I'm going to say I'm sponsoring today's podcast. I found something in my cabinet that I thought it might be fun to give away. So for everybody watching, I wanted to do a giveaway, sort of similar to how some of our friends in their podcasts do things. So what I found was actually my last pre-production bottle of Rehab. So
Very
this
cool.
is just before it went to actual production in an actual bottle. And it is the same product though, and I think this one's even scented. Here, I'm going to do a live scent.
Well, I can guarantee that it is one of the last sample bottles because it has its name on it, right? Because that's not how they used to come. They used to come with codes on it, and so names, that is definitely the correct formula because it's got its name.
Yeah, so I thought it would be fun to give that away and hopefully give it away to someone who hasn't tried Rehab before, right? This isn't this is only like an 8-ounce bottle, so it's not like a huge amount, but it's enough to do a few cars. And so similar to how like our friends do it, I'm sort of copying their methods here, which we didn't actually say this today, so I don't know if it's going to be too easy to get or not, that easy, but I wanted to ask the question of who knows what year anniversary.
And Rod and Jody can't answer.
Yes.
I see him back there waiting.
They're ready to answer.
Hey, like I'm going to say something.
We're not going to answer.
I will tell you, it's more than one.
Less than 100.
Right. What anniversary year was this of your car show, of the Cruisin Hidden Springs car show? And we might have to get some hints because I don't think we said this yet. But if somebody wants to answer that in the comments, and hopefully if they haven't tried Rehab before, then I will send this bottle out to them. So there we go. Sweet. And they get a nice, fun little, definitely scented bottle of Rehab here.
Oh, good. So it still has the, David answered, but he's wrong. Chris M's wrong. Uh-oh.
Think bigger, guys. Think bigger.
Oh no, Ethan's wrong.
We got a couple of
older than Piper, but younger than Jody.
Yep. The details in me wrong.
Say it's a nice, solid round number.
Kev wrong. Oh, David wrong. Chris M still wrong. Oh, you guys are so close.
Getting closer.
What is it? Play hot and cold? I'm not even sure. There, the
98.
The details in me got
it. Details in me.
It was 10. The 10th anniversary. A whole 10. Decade.
And Chris M.
Yep. The details in me got it right. Yep.
2014.
Sarah, 2014 was the first one. Yep.
Everybody's doing it.
Very good.
That was the actual year it started, right? To be the 10th. So there you go.
Yep. Very cool. All right. Well, thanks for doing that, Tony. That's super fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well,
yeah.
All right.
6 months of planning, 10 years means that you've given 5 years of your life to the Hidden Springs.
It probably
No kidding.
for the first 3 years.
5 years of your life. Think about that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Think about that. That is crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right. Well, I'll jump back out of the way, go through some of the rest of the comments here.
Sweet. That's awesome. It's always fun to have pre-production bottles from Dave.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
That is fun.
One year we were in a training facility and they had some pre-production bottles and they kept telling us not to say anything. And I kept trying to get them to say what it was, and it would get it's fun.
You guys were with me in Portland when we had pre-production Legend. Remember that?
Yep, for sure.
Remember that very well.
Yep. All right, Gabriel, PPF on the front window, View or Legend or Lucid. So not Lucid. Lucid's for headlights. And really not Legend either. I would just do View, honestly. View, or even, I mean, you could do Legend since it's PPF, but I always worry about Legend on front windshields just because it is such a higher solid. And if you leave a high spot, they're going to see it. So I always try to stay away from Legend on glass, but I think View is going to be totally fine. Yeah, just do some View and then Triple S or Defender on top and you'll be good. You'll be good to go. I've always wondered about the PPF on the front windshield. I haven't seen that
I
yet.
would not put PPF on.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy on that because
I would not.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Portion that can do.
I don't know how I feel about that.
About ego.
Oh yes, David says, Sydney, tell us more about the Ego booth. Their cordless power washer. Did you get into? Yes. I've actually seen it demoed several times. We had a shop crawl here in December and we got to see it then, and then they had it out. What was funny is if you guys watched Eddie Cologne's video, he spends quite a bit of time with Chris Metcalf from Ego. So I would highly recommend going and watching Eddie's kind of Cruisin Hidden Springs recap video. Lots of information on the Ego booth in that video. But what was funny is they were demoing it on that video, and I believe one of Eddie's daughters pulled the trigger and it literally shot so far away, the booth, like so far away. It was so funny. And it hit Bart Sepik, the photographer. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, that little power washer is really cool, especially, you know, it's cool if you can have it hooked up to a water source, but what's cool about it is you can actually just draw the water out of a 5-gallon bucket.
Yep.
Yeah. And you can wash several cars. I wouldn't necessarily say it has the power of a traditional power washer, but absolutely works for whatever you need. I mean, you're not going to get, gunk off of a deck or anything with it probably, but absolutely for car washing, it is just as much power as you need for washing a car.
Marine detailer. Detailers, I'd say it's a must because you're walking back and forth and you're out on a dock somewhere. It's fabulous for that because it can't pull from its own source of water. And it's if you're truly mobile and you have nothing as far as the water source, but your own containment, that it is perfect for that.
Yeah. And then us being here in Idaho, one of the stories I always hear is taking it up camping. If you have like a side-by-side or a four-wheeler, you have it with you and you can just go grab even a bucket of, lake water and run it through and rinse off your side-by-side or your four-wheeler, which is so cool. But I will say also on the Ego stuff, I was so excited to have Chris Metcalf here. He joined us with the Flex and the Ego stuff. Flex sponsored the Pit Stop Challenge. So everybody doing the Pit Stop Challenge was using the new Flex huge Big Daddy impact drivers, which was super cool to get the race car wheels off. But I own a lot of the Ego stuff and I love it. I love everything I have that's Ego. I have the mower, the blower, the trimmer, I have all sorts of stuff, the fan, all sorts of stuff. I have lots of Ego stuff and I absolutely love everything I have. I did just get the vacuum. I haven't had a chance to try it yet, but I've demoed it. And so I'm super excited to use the vacuum, but really, really good stuff. So I everything I've seen come from the power washer has been awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. A little bit of a lightning round here. We're coming up on the hour mark. I don't know if Rod and Jody can stay late. So
we're good.
We're good.
Okay. Well, then I won't fly through them too quick then, but I will get us moving through these. And then I had something else to say, but I have promptly forgotten it already. That's the trouble with talking and producing at the same time. All right, here we go.
We just have an announcement to make. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I remember what it is now. Thank you. That was perfect. That's all I needed. You just needed to say something, and I remembered it.
Very cool. All right. David says, shout out to Hans, who helps me a lot explaining PNS products and situation uses and advice. Very helpful and grateful for it. Very helpful and grateful. That's awesome. Hans is a very
Hey, we were just there.
Person,
we weren't in Quebec. We weren't in
Quebec.
We
Jonathan, hello from Quebec, Canada. Very cool. All right. Clean Tech Auto Care. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Mark Abar, you guys have so much fun. I'm moving to Idaho. Good vibes.
No, Mark. Let's go.
It's like the Mecca. It's like the Mecca of coolness.
It really is. We do have we're very lucky where we live. We have a lot of really cool people here. Chris M, hi. Could the labels be downloaded as PDF or Illustrator files so we can print our own? No. The reason being is labels are, it would become a legality issue. Yes. So if it was in a PDF or Illustrator where people could change things about the labels, that could become a liability or a legal issue if, there are certain things that have to be on the labels. They have to be written a certain way. And so if you had something labeled in your shop that was incorrect, that could be a problem. And it would always be hard for PNS as a company to, not have liability should something go wrong. Like, let's say you were using an acid. And so obviously we have to blanket policy, right? You're not going to hurt anything with things like Bead Maker or something, but we have to have a blanket policy. So you can't change any of the labels. And so if people could print their own or have them in an Illustrator file, they could change things. And then that becomes, not kosher. And for those of us who work in our own shop, that would most likely never be an issue. But for those who run shops with employees, that's dangerous. So unfortunately, you can't pick and choose who you share the label files with. So we do get this question a lot. Will you just email me the file? And no, we can't do that. Labels are they're a thing. I know it seems easy, but they're a thing. They're a thing. All right. High Definition says, shout out to Josh P. from Cedar Rapids. Isn't Josh Pierce just the best?
He is.
It's just the best.
Just a good dude.
So amazing. So amazing. Chris M, a lot of people with planes are also car collectors and store car collections in their hangars. Yes.
Yes.
It's possible to get lots of business from one customer. That is absolutely true.
Symbiotic that way. Yeah, for sure.
That is absolutely true. Good customers to have. David says, Sydney, what did JTC do to get your IK Pro 12 e-foamer to work and foam properly? So there is a video on this. It's on Jamie's channel where he goes through step by step how he got it to work. To be honest, I still don't use it just because I find that for me, my air compressor, I have to drain all the air out of it. It's 26 gallons to be able to change the top head, to change from an air filler from my air tool. So for me, I don't use it because it's not easy to change my air compressor head and to have to refill the IK sprayer every day and then let the air out. It's just too tedious for me. So honestly, I still don't use it. I feel bad, but this is just where I'm like totally honest about how I use stuff. I really like IK sprayers, but they don't work for what I use things for. I wish they did, but I don't have the air filler is not easy to change on my air compressor. So I don't.
I think the next time I'm out there, I'm just going to fix that for you. I'll just give you on mine, I have a second air thing on my tank.
Yeah.
Like a splitter. And then I have like a 3-foot long hose I made with an IK filler on it. And it just lives on the compressor. And then I still have my Tornador tools and stuff on their own hose. But I made like a dedicated second one that's always there. So I can just fill whatever I want.
Yeah, that way you could do it with because that does become a problem. And then I obviously have the detail keg and I love that thing too, but it's too hard because I have to, the pressure has to be like under 50%. And so I would literally have to remember like I blow out a car and then before it fills back up, change the head. But I mean, it is like locked on there. So,
yeah.
and I'm a girl, I'm a wimp. So
I'll make you a little setup so it's
cool.
just easy for you and custom like I made, as I did for myself, because I was
cool.
If there's an easy, lazy way to do it, then I did it.
You can also on that Y split for the filler, you can actually get for paint guns, they have little tiny regulators for the paint gun.
Oh,
yeah.
One in line there so that the pressure is always lower on that side and you wouldn't have to adjust or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll set hers to like the 60 or whatever PSI that the detail keg and stuff like, and then it'll be perfect.
Very nice. So yes, so please do go to Jamie's channel. Yeah, go to Jamie's channel.
Yeah, go to
watch
Jamie's
the video. He made it work perfectly, but I have not used it since.
Shop tech tip for
Bead
Maker and Coffee's talk tech tips.
Yes. All right, the details in me. Just want to give a shout out to Rehab and the Orange Free Ride Pad. What a pair. Yes, absolutely. We call it the creamsicle because the free ride and the orange pad. It's awesome. Or I mean the Rehab. Yes, so that pad is great.
It was a good guess.
Really awesome. Really awesome.
Yay.
I think she's saying yay because she won the Rehab.
Congrats.
Yeah.
All right, Joe Kimball, did you just do a drawing? It reminds me of Cody pulling Sid's name out of a drawing with Rod and Jody and Cody totally butchering your business name. What did he call it? Like iMash or something? What did he call it? I can't remember.
Like that. I don't know, but
I do remember that. It was, he totally butchered it. And then he didn't realize it was me. That was so funny. That's hilarious. I just saw that video the other day. Want a detail. Love rinseless wash in the drier season because it's mostly just dusty. The exception is on bugs and forward-facing areas. What would your process be? Oh, this is easy. I just pre-spray everything with bug off.
Yep. I was just going to say you can stack that stuff too. If you do a pre-spray with your rinseless, and then you just top it with the bug off right on top of that and let it dwell a little bit. You can literally watch the bugs just fall off.
Yep. And then you just have your little bug scrubber. You scrub it and then use your it's great.
Yeah.
Yep. Bug off is amazing. Unfortunately, tis the season. Mark Gabar, have an awesome week, everyone. You too.
Thanks,
you too. All right. Cav, what's your favorite rinseless wash besides Absolute? Oh, it's probably, I'm testing another one right now that tends to be an industry favorite and I'm not totally loving it. So then I bought another one. Just recently that I've yet to try. Maybe I'll try it today. But I would say that the one that I love a lot that I would still use if it weren't so darn expensive would be the yellow Optimum in their, what is it, their pro line or fancy line or what is that? In like the frosted bottle, that yellow stuff is good. Yeah. I really like that one. Am I just butchering that, Tony?
No. I mean, I don't. It's their Opti Coat line, Opti Coat line.
Yeah. The yellow stuff's good. It's just really
I haven't
expensive.
actually used that one.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, it's really good.
Yep. Eco Wash is another good one from OP.
Mm-hmm. I haven't tried that one.
There you go.
It's actually really good.
Buy a
safety coupler, Sydney.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna get her all set up with all kinds of fancy air tool stuff.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I need an excuse to go out to Boise anyway.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, it's been a minute.
Wouldn't that be something? I show up, I just like change the air compressor setup and then leave.
Right. Yeah. We could do like the Fix Sydney shop, Tony. You know what? You should come out, Tony. You're gonna have to help me with my cabinets. I'm gonna need a lot of help because I'm totally redoing my whole shop again.
Well, let me know.
Fun. Yeah, you can make it a whole thing.
It out.
Yeah.
Video the whole thing, speed it up, put it on fast forward.
Yeah. On what surfaces can't Defender be used? I have not found one yet, but I would say soft things. I wouldn't say you can't use it. There just would be no reason, but
I feel like you probably could even spray it on like a convertible top.
Oh yeah, I was thinking
probably would be fine.
Seats and carpets, but yeah, I've never found anything it can't go on.
No, it's just that's one of the amazing things about it.
Don't spray it on electrical items.
Yeah, I can. Don't spray it right in your fuse box.
Right.
The only thing I will say Defender doesn't like to go on top of is really fresh Defender. That's the only time I've ever had it streak or be weird is like if you applied Defender like at Monterey last year when a lot of the car show cars the first day got wiped down with Defender. And there were so many groups and so many of us, we didn't know what cars got hit with what. So we come back the second day and you start using Defender, and on 4 out of 5 cars, it works fine. But then you get to a car that someone defendered the previous day and it's a streaky mess. Yeah. And so that was the only time. Yeah. Okay. Well, my thing I remembered I wanted to do was plugs, not only especially for us, but especially for Rod and Jody. So, go follow myself. I'm Tony, the detail trainer on Instagram. Sydney, your SPG, the detailer. I'm sorry, I'm Tony, the detail trainer. It's a long one. And then Rod and Jody, please walk us through who you are, what you do, what is RoadFS. Maybe it's short-ish version. I don't care how long.
Yeah,
it's not my show.
Our Instagram is everything is at RoadFS. Our YouTube channel, everything is just at RoadFS.
Instagram, TikTok, Reels,
Facebook,
it's all at RoadFS.
RoadFS is a CRM. We get this question all the time. What's the FS? It stands for full service. It is your full service CRM. We track, your customers, your pricing, your products,
inventory.
We actually worked with Bob and Dave Phillips and Keith to put in a full inventory management system that allows you to put the barcodes and all the stuff. You can actually put your MSD sheets, SDS sheets right inside the software for your products. You can order through our system and create a purchase order through the right distributors if you have that. So it is the oldest and longest running CRM in the entire industry.
09, baby.
Yep.
Cool.
2009.
There you go. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you guys again so much for coming on. Do we have any last minute questions of our own for Rod and Jody before we sign off here?
No, I just want to say thanks, guys, for coming on. I've been looking forward to this. I really appreciate you getting up and heading into the office early, and so fun. And I look forward to all the events I will see you at this year. And then I do want to mention, because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, so we have Monterey Car Week coming up in like 6 weeks.
Yeah,
or so. It's going to come up so fast. So I wanted to make an announcement that the team has been chosen. It has not been released yet, but it will be released before the next Bead Maker Coffee. So watch for that. We have an amazing team this year. Super, super excited. So we do have that coming up. Rennie is going to Puerto Rico today. So I'm sure you'll see some stuff coming out of there. So he'll be there for the next couple of days. And then Tony, you've got a training coming up in a couple weeks, right?
The dates are still sort of floaty, but it's probably the week of the 8th in July. I didn't have one in July before, but we have enough interest that I'll be adding that one. Cool. So I'll be having that come up, and then it's quickly Monterey right after that. So.
Yeah. So the next couple months are going to go by so fast. So wanted to give a heads up on a couple things of like that. So trainings we have on our website. So if anybody wants to go train with Tony, we'll have that. I'm sure we'll have it all up to date.
You have Rod and Jody come down for an event sometime there.
Let us know.
Absolutely. And you guys could do a little RoadFS demo to the students and all that. We could make an event of it.
That'd be great.
One last thing is we are giving some stuff away. It's actually this Thursday we're giving it away for the listeners on here. If you go to our YouTube channel and you have not already subscribed and you subscribe, that's all you have to do. We're going to pull a name out of a hat to anybody subscribes, giving away wax from
right there.
Why
don't you show it?
From Aaron Knox. These are signed. This is 6 of 50. I was really fast.
Oh, cool.
Kind of a fun thing that they're doing. So go out and subscribe to our YouTube channel and you have a chance to win that.
Just a second, Piper. Very cool.
And you get free kisses from Piper anytime you're in Boise, Idaho.
I know. She's like, please do something with me.
That's right. Hey, you're a bulldog mom. She's
a bulldog. Yep.
Serve a purpose.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on. This has been so great. And thank you for all your help at the show and everything. We appreciate everything you guys do for the industry.
Well, thank you
guys. We appreciate
it.
So anytime.
I'm gonna quickly shoehorn this in here. When do you come to Europe to give training? And then Alan, Tony in Europe. So I'm really feeling like that needs to happen. So just scream it from the rooftops. And here, I'll get above the picture here. Scream from the rooftops, and I will I will be there. If you guys make it a big enough reason for me to go, I think we can twist Bob's arm and make it happen.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
That'd be fun.
There you go. That'd be perfect. Bob, come on, step up. Let's go. Tony,
come on, Bob.
You're up. Tony and Alan. Q&A with T&A. Come on.
Too fun.
It'd be awesome. I would love that. Europe, Netherlands. There you go. I'll go anywhere. You know what? If there's cars, I'll detail them, and I'll teach you guys how to detail them. There's the money for you.
Money.
All right. Well, hey, thanks everyone. Thank you for coming to Bead Maker Coffee this morning. We will see you in 2 weeks. And
you guys have a great week.
Go follow Rod and Jody.
Thank you for having us on.
Bye. Thanks, guys.